All right, the time is now 6 p.m. Our regular City Council meeting for December 5th, 2023 is now in session. First on the agenda is Councilmember Brown would lead us with the opening prayer and the pledges of allegiance to the flags of the United States and the state of Texas. Please rise.
Good evening. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for the freedom we exercise and the many blessings of democracy that we enjoy in our United States, in Texas, and here in Schertz. We ask for your protection and guidance for all who devote themselves to our common good. We lift up all of our duly elected leaders and public servants, those who service as local officials, first responders, and those in the military. Unite us, O Lord, with a common purpose, dedication, and commitment to our community now and in the years ahead. Let us pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. Okay, first on the agenda we have a proclamation. I'll read the proclamation and it will be presented to SSLGC during their next board meeting. And it reads, the City of Schertz Proclamation. In honor of the 25th anniversary of the Schertz-Seguin Local Government Corporation. Whereas in December 1998, the cities of Schertz and Seguin joined together to create an organization that would be able to provide a stable water supply to the two major cities in Guadalupe County, which at that time, no similar projects existed in Central Texas, and there was no template to follow. Whereas experts, consultants, and many others were enlisted to plan a groundwater project in Carrizo Aquifer, which involved drilling large municipal water wells in Gonzales County, followed by the construction of a 42-mile pipeline to transport water to Seguin and Schertz. Whereas Schertz Seguin Local Government Corporation began production in September 2002 and has continued to grow to serve the cities of Schertz and Seguin as their primary water source. Whereas the Schertz Seguin Local Government Corporation maintains a strong wholesale water customer base, including contracts with the City of Selma and Universal City, as well as Spring Hills Water Supply Corporation and the San Antonio Water System. Whereas now the two cities of Guadalupe County and contracted entities have a stable, long-lasting supply of clean water that the growing communities can rely on, and interested businesses and industries know now would enable the growth and certainly of the joint benefits of our region. Whereas on December 1st, 2023, the Schertz Seguin Local Government Corporation celebrated its 25th anniversary and continues to look bright in our future. Now, therefore, I, Ralph Gutierrez, Mayor, City of Schertz, do hereby call upon all citizens of the City of Schertz to recognize the 25th anniversary of the Schertz Seguin Local Government Corporation and the contributions it has made to the City of Schertz. And we'll pass this on to the board members when they meet on Thursday. We can do that. You know, SSLGC, the city cannot grow without adequate water supply. As you can see, our growth has been tremendous, and it is due based on the gentleman back then in 1998 getting together and asking for money. And back then, $10 million was a lot of money. In fact, it cost more than close to $50 million just to bring the water supply down here. But also at that point, we were depending on others to provide us the water resources that we need. And now we control our own destiny with the individuals that came up and realized how important it was. And we thank them for their contributions at that point. All right. With that, let's move on. We have the employee introductions. First is engineering.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to start off with a little bit of a public service announcement. I'd like you all to remember to be careful placing and lighting your Christmas candles this year because you don't want Santa to turn into Crisp Kringle. I'm very happy this evening to introduce Tammy Lawrence as engineering's newest member of the department. She's our administrative assistant. Tammy is from the Mitsu Valley in Alaska, which is north of Anchorage. In 1998, she left Alaska for Texas. And while she was here in Texas, she worked for the city of Schertz, first in public works and then in IT. In 2019, she left the city and Texas for a grand adventure in Alaska. Recently, Tammy and her husband, Charlie, returned to Texas, and she is now closer to her son, Matthew, who's a Texas Tech graduate. Tammy and Charlie live in Canyon Lake, where she can enjoy watching the deer, turkeys, ringtails, and other wildlife. Tammy and Charlie will also be celebrating their 19th anniversary this month. Congratulations to both of them. Excuse me. Tammy enjoys fishing, hunting, and riding the roller coasters at theme parks. She's planning to revisit some of her favorites and try some new coasters at Six Flags this month. Tammy also enjoys being on the water, any water, lake, river, whitewater, ocean. She's at home on a kayak, canoe, or boat. I'm thinking talking to her about how much she enjoys the water. If you put her on an air mattress with a paddle, she'd be happy. She and Charlie have traveled most of the barbecue trail because Tammy really enjoys barbecue and sushi. And they hope to finish their journey soon. She also hopes to do more traveling in her future. She's visited Japan and would like to go back, and she hopes one day to visit the Netherlands as well. Engineering is very excited to have Tammy back at the city of Schertz, and particularly at our department. We're very fortunate that she chose our department to come to work for, and we look forward to improving our department efficiencies with her. Tammy?
Thank you, John. I am really excited to be back with the city and ready to serve the city and the residents. Thank you.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Next, we have the Finance Department.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I am filling in for James tonight. So with me, I am happy to introduce Ms. Jessica Dykes as our new accountant. Jessica has worked at U-Haul for 20 years, and for 6 years, she was the accountant for a small law firm in the Florida Keys. She also helped manage a title company that was owned by the law firm. For the law firm, she noted she helped them go from a paper to a paperless office. She also helped set up a software system to have them go fully online. She and her boyfriend moved to Texas from Florida in 2020 to work for the family plumbing business. And her last job was at the Edwards Aquifer Authority, where she was the senior accountant and helped with procurement. Together, her and her boyfriend have a daughter and 2 bonus daughters. So we're very excited to have Jessica in the finance department, and she brings a lot of knowledge, and so here she is.
Thanks.
Mike's yours. No, well, welcome to our team.
Thank you.
Next is the Fire Department.
Good evening, Council. This is probably going to be our last edition of the fire onboarding process here for a little while because we are fully staffed, so I hope the new members of Council are able to enjoy it with us this evening. I'm going to actually start with Benjamin down here on the end just because I have this pulled up first. So this is Benjamin Contet. He is from the bustling metropolis of Bandera. He is an only child. When I asked him if you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, every day, what would it be? He said it would be lasagna. It's a very good choice. I said, what is your biggest irrational phobia? He said, snakes. Personally, I don't think that's irrational at all, Benjamin. Next question was, if aliens landed on Earth today and offered to abduct you, would you go with them? He said he would. It tells you a lot about him there. And which famous person, dead or alive, would you like by your side during a zombie apocalypse? And he said Chris Rock. That one I'm kind of questioning. I don't know if that's the best one, but I guess you'll be laughing as you're getting chased. And the last question was, if you could appear on any game show, which one would you choose? And he said it would be Jeopardy. So please welcome Benjamin.
Thank you, guys. It's an honor.
No, come back. We're not done. Now switch places. All right, the same questions were asked to this gentleman here to my left. His name is Jake Kinnaman. Well, I guess your name is Michael Kinnaman. You go by Jake. So Michael Jake Kinnaman will go with. He did grow up in the bustling metropolis up by the Dallas area. Grew up in Pettis, Texas. Most recently lived in Corpus Christi and now moved here to the San Antonio area. He has a wife. Her name is Brittany, a daughter, Kensley, and he's got another little one on the way. So the family is growing. When I asked him what food he would eat every day for the rest of his life, it was steak and baked potato. Also another very good choice. His biggest irrational phobia was clowns. Again, not that irrational. So if aliens landed on Earth, you're right, Mayor? If aliens landed on Earth and offered to abduct him, he said he would not go. So we have two conflicting opinions on that matter. Famous person, dead or alive, that he would take with him during the zombie apocalypse was Woody Harrelson. And, of course, the game show that he chose was Price is Right with Bob Barker. So please, welcome Jake.
Thank you. Excited to serve the city of Schertz, and thank you for the opportunity.
Well, welcome to our team, gentlemen, and clowns make me feel uncomfortable too. So. Next is our police department.
This on? Good evening, Mayor Gutierrez, Mr. Williams, and members of council. My name is Sergeant Trevino, Schertz Police, and I'm here today to introduce three of our newest new hires. We'll start with Rome Borrego right here next to me. Rome comes to us from, wrong spot. Rome worked at Kendall County prior to coming here. He's got a total of 15 years experience as a police officer. He's done various jobs to include SRO. He is currently has his advanced certificate peace officer. He was born in Germany, lived most of his life in San Antonio, and he has 3 children. And out of those 3 children, 2 happen to be adults and have made him a grandfather. He's got a total of 4 grandchildren. So yeah, he'll be with us for a while. He enjoys golfing when he gets the chance, working out, playing basketball with friends. Summer months, he likes to spend camping and at the river. And he has 3 main sporting teams he follows. This has got to be a typo. It says New Orleans Saints, but it's got to be Dallas. He means Dallas Cowboys, probably. San Antonio Spurs and Texas Longhorns. So, Rome Borrego. Next, we have Danny Castro. And Danny comes to us with 10 years experience from Seguin PD. We stole one from Seguin. He's got a lot of different experience to include investigations, narcotics, things like that. So it definitely brings some interesting things to our city and our PD. Born and raised San Antonio. He's a Marine. He has his MBA and looking to work on his doctorate in leadership. He's happily married to Kelsey Marie Castro, who's with us today. And they have 6 children, 5 girls, 1 boy. He also has in here that he's very thankful for a loving and supporting wife. He enjoys spending time in church, family time, and it looks like he's got the right winning combination here. He's a Cowboys fan, University of Texas fan, and Texas Rangers fan, and Houston Astros. So we got a few W's out of that. Danny Castro. As you can see This is probably one of our youngest we have. We're glad to have him. His name's Marcus Lightwig. Marcus comes to us from Comal County. He worked as a jailer there for a couple years and has made his way to the law enforcement side of things over here at Schertz PD. So we're glad to have him. Always glad to have younger guys than you guys, even though it makes me feel older than I am, maybe. But he's spent some time in his high school years in Colorado Springs, moved over while still in high school back to Schertz, where he graduated from Samuel Clemens. So he's homegrown. So here in Schertz. So it's really great with these homegrown guys because when we're teaching them streets and maps and all that, they know where everything's at. So it kind of helps the field training process. He is married to April Lightwig, and they have a 3-year-old son. And some of his hobbies, relaxing, deer hunting, and spending time with the family. So this is Marcus Lightwig, and these are our 3 new hires, and this is not the end of our onboarding process. We'll be doing this probably quite a bit here, hopefully we get some more recruits. So
Awesome.
Thank y'all for your time.
Well, thank you. Gentlemen, mic's yours. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I did just want to say I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to give back to the city of Schertz. As Sergeant Trevino alluded to, I did grow here, so it's nice to repay the great childhood that I've had growing up here to other citizens of this city. I'm excited to learn, eager to learn, get to work, and to do great by the city of Schertz. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, sir. Sid, on that note, also thankful. I enjoy the commute here. I live about 15 minutes away from here. I live in New Braunfels. So I'm excited about it. I love what the city has to offer for me. So thank you.
Now I feel obligated to say something, but just thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to working for the city of Schertz. Nice to meet you all.
Well, welcome to our team, gentlemen. Glad to have you on board. We'll move on. We have a presentation of the Texas Recreation Parks and Parks Society Center Regional Award for the Schertz Parks and Recreation Department and the Johnny McDowell. Ms. Strum.
Give me 1 second, sorry. There we go. Sorry for the delay. Mayor, Council, my name is Lauren Shrum. I'm Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Schertz. Tonight I have the honor of presenting some awards to some recipients in front of you guys. We received these at the Central Region workshop in San Marcos a couple weeks ago, but I wanted to recognize the groups in front of you. I'm really proud of all their hard work. So the first thing we did is our maintenance crews, if you remember, they go to a maintenance rodeo and they participate against all the other cities in the region. So, we're going against cities such as Austin, Round Rock, Georgetown, New Braunfels, Leander, Pflugerville, all the big benchmark cities. And the participants get to compete on irrigation assembly, truck and trailer. There's an obstacle course they go through. It's timed. There's penalties, things like that. Nail driving. Our guys really love doing it, and it's a great way to network amongst the other maintenance teams as well. So we have some winners that we're very proud of, and these guys will go on to the state competition to represent Schertz at the State Maintenance Rodeo in Galveston in February. So I want to bring up Cole Moody and Larry May, who got 3rd place in the truck and trailer competition. And then I want to congratulate Ian King, got 6th place in the backhoe, so he's going to be an alternate for the state competition as well. Come on up, Ian. And then the entire crew received the Excellence in Maintenance Award for their work on the Windy Swan splash pad project and the renovation that they did there. You know, all the irrigation repair, the restroom renovation, all the playground additions. They did a really great job, so I want to bring the whole crew up. Congratulations on your Excellence in Maintenance Award, guys. Come on down. And we'll get a picture with everybody here in a minute. And here's just, you know, some pictures of the ongoing maintenance project for those who weren't familiar. You know, included some work with some contractors demoing, but we did a lot of work in-house as well. And it was a really big project, so I'm really proud of them for that. We also received the photography award. So ladies, if you'll come on up, who are participants in our marketing for the department. You know, it's really important that we build our brand. Thank you. This is the photograph that they won for the foam party. You know, as our brand is Parks and Recreation Fun, we really try to get those close-up shots of the children and people engaged in the programming, and I think that shows through our photography, so we're really excited about that. And then finally, a third award was we nominated Johnny McDowell for the Individual of the Year award, and I'd like to bring him up here. Come on down, Johnny. As many of you know, Johnny has provided decades of service to BVUA in the past. He's also been on our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board since its inception in 2007, and he's chaired that board and been elected chair over and over again, at least a decade. We really appreciate his leadership on that board. We couldn't do all the things we do without him, so we nominated him and he won, and very well deserved. Thank you, Johnny. There's all those beautiful shots of Johnny. Mayor, if you wouldn't mind coming down with our award winners, we'd love to get a photo together. And everybody turn and face the other direction.
Let's disperse.
I didn't get the right
Front, right? Award winner, like Johnny in the front.
Come on, Johnny. Oh, come on.
How about you get right in front? No, they're all gone.
Circus is in town.
Thank you so much.
What a great team we have in our Parks and Recreation. As you can tell, I hope we don't give you enough practice during the week that you compete. So, you know, but it does help, you know, that you guys are here taking care of our residents, our parks, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Our next presentation is the FY 2022-2023 Parks Annual Report.
All right, so I am pleased now to present to you our annual report that we created, had staff create. It was an initiative that staff wanted to do, and they have been tracking data and collecting things all year long to be able to present this report to you. We presented it to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. We'll put it on our website and push it out on social media, but this just highlights the great year we had and all that we accomplished, you know, and is one of the reasons why we're winning these awards for photography and things like this, we really wanted to share it in a report document. So let me just go through here. So again, it's just telling the story. We're reminding everybody who we are. 21 full-time staff, 2 part-time staff, 2 seasonal staff, and over 200 volunteers. The leadership there, Parks and Recreation, including our Civic Center staff that we've got now as part of our team. We have many boards and committees and groups that we meet with over the years that are part of our Parks and Recreation departments. We've got our advisory board members. We've got our Schertz Youth Soccer Alliance that we meet with regularly. We've got our Buffalo Valley Youth Association. We've got our Senior Center Advisory Board. And we've got our Friends of Crescent Bend Nature Park. And we meet with all these folks regularly and are integrated into the community through these boards and committees. And we couldn't do what we do without these folks. So we wanted to highlight that. And then just some infographics and by the numbers, what we do. Again, 25 parks, 12 baseball, softball fields, 36 playscape units, water access points, the pools, 438.97 acres of parkland, 3 adult social leagues now, 25.6 miles of hike and bike trails, 35 special events, 20 sponsors, 1,020 civic center bookings. The partner organizations that we work with, there's 7 of those that help us put on programs, 21 nature programs. As you know, those are so popular at Crescent Bend. So this is just a cumulative look at all those things that we do. We have a section here on improving our parks. You're very familiar with all of these projects, and we highlight them in our parks guide as we do those 3 times a year. But we wanted to just highlight again, we did the solar-powered gate at Crescent Bend. We completed some shade structures at Cypress Point. They are complete as of today. Wendy Swan Memorial Park splash pad and those renovations, and then other small projects throughout the year, adding multiple barbecue pits and picnic tables and things like that. And then planning our parks. We're constantly planning what's the next project that we're going to work on, and we've done some work with the Senior Center Advisory Board to plan an extension to their garden. And then we obviously accomplished purchasing the Dry Comal Creek Nature Park property, and we're going to work on a development plan for that site coming up. And then the year-end numbers, just all the park rentals that we have at Crescent Bend and Pickerel Park and Rhine Valley, over 132 large pavilion reservations. We have a lot of special events at the park every weekend. It's 24/7, operation for us. And then our aquatics, we have over 20,000 visits at the pool, over 26,000 event participants in our parades and special events, and then 59,850 in sponsorships for those events. A lot of participation in youth leagues, you can see there. And then, we have over 19,000 scans in our senior center, so we have a lot of active members. Social engagement, we want to highlight, social media, that's how we get the word out about what we do. And we had a couple posts go viral this year, so we wanted to mention that certified firefly habitat post from Crescent Bend, had over 346,000 reach. It was a huge post for us. I think people are just really nostalgic about fireflies, so it was wonderful. And then the Father's Day Go Fishing Day video we got a great reach as well. We added the recreation team, new recreation coordinator, have been able to do a lot in recreation. We started the Schertz Young Leaders Program, it was very successful. Added the adult softball league and the archery camp, they all sold out. Had a great golf tournament this past year and raised over $40,000 in funds. Again, with the addition of the Civic and Convention Center, we wanted to highlight that restructure, the new event management software they've implemented. We've got staff involved in the Texas Association of Venue and Facilities group in Texas. We had a longtime employee retire, and we did some upgrades to our facility equipment and our appliances, so we wanted to highlight that. And then we just wanted to highlight the staff and all their awards and their accomplishments, really congratulate those who've been here. Aaron and Matlock had our 20 years. We had several had their 5-year pin, and several have been here for a year or more. We had a couple city manager coins. We had certifications. Professional development is really important for our department and our culture, and you can see that here through the activities that we're engaged in as a department. And then we had to throw in the gingerbread house contest winners because that's just bragging rights for us. And then thank you to our sponsors. Again, many, many businesses sponsor our programs throughout the year, so we wanted to highlight them and say thank you. There's a list of them there. And then again, just a nice photo montage of the back of all the great things we bring to Schertz in the community. And we hope the residents enjoy. We sure do enjoy providing the service to them. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Shrum. Very impressive numbers. I mean, they're astonishing. I mean, everything that the staff is able to do with the number of parks that we have and all the bookings that we have, I can't say enough. Thank you so much. You provide something that our residents really, that's why they come here. Quality of life. It's very important to our residents, and we appreciate everything you all do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have announcements of upcoming events. Mr. James.
Thank you. A few things, just a reminder for folks, this Saturday, December 9th, is runoff election day. That's for Council Member Place 4. Voting is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. over at the Schertz Community Center at 1400 Schertz Parkway. On Saturday, December 16th, Parks is doing a star party. That's from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Crescent Bend Nature Park. And we'll have our next regular city council meeting on Tuesday, December 19th, here at 6 p.m. in council chambers. And that will include the swearing in of Council Member Place 4.
Thank you, Mr. James. All right, announcements and recognitions by our city manager, Mr. Williams.
Just a couple of announcements, Mayor. Last Thursday, we had our Deck the City Hall, which was our tree lighting, and we had about 250 folks come out for that. A big thanks goes out to River City Community Church for running our snack station, and to the Chamber for hot cocoa and cookies. Also on Saturday, we are in full swing in the Christmas season. We had Holidazzle, and the morning kicked off with our visit from Santa, and Abel's Diner generously provided pancake breakfast to 272 children and their parents, with Santa and Mrs. Claus in attendance as well. So after that, we had the Kris Kringle Market was open in the main hall, and that ran from 10 a.m. We had 36 vendors come in with their different products. In the afternoon at 4 p.m., we had the Holiday Hoopla, which was out at the ballpark, and we had guests who were able to slide down Mount Schertz, as well as go ice skating, get a picture with Santa, roast s'mores, and we rounded out the evening with the Festival of Angels Parade. We had 44 entries and around 1,000 participants, well lit up Main Street and Schertz Parkway, and circled around from Pickerel Park to Johnny McDowell Stadium. And we had about 5,000 people in attendance to watch throughout the whole day. So, all in all, it was a great day. And I just want to say thanks to staff for doing a fantastic job once again. So,
thank you. Announcements and recognitions by the mayor. I'd like to echo on that is that, Holidazzle was a great success. It was a whole day event. We couldn't have done it without, of course, the Parks and Recreations were responsible for putting this together, but it took our staff to help us put this together, and volunteers. And we appreciate everybody that came out and enjoyed themselves and during this holiday season. And with that, I also have another announcement is that our city manager completed 1 year, December 1st. I know he awards a 1-year pin, but I didn't have a 1-year pin to give you, so I'm going to have to borrow one so I can give it back to you, okay? But I'll give him a pen. It's almost close to it, You just changed the E to an I. But we appreciate all the contributions that you have made to our city in just 1 short year. Thank you so much.
thank you, Mayor. It's been a great year, and I'm looking forward to many, many more, I hope.
With that, we'll move on to the hearing of residents. This time is set aside for any person who wishes to address the city council. Each person is limited to 3 minutes, and we ask before addressing the council, for the record, please state your name and address. Mayor Pro Tem, please call our first speaker.
We have one for tonight. It's Maggie Tetherton.
Good evening, Council. Just wanted to, again, echo the thanks and how wonderful the deck, the City Hall, and the Holly Dazzle Parade. She just walked out, and I know it was a whole bunch of the city staff, but Cassie did such an awesome job. She was our contact for the cookies and the cocoa, orchestrating the times, the setups. The parade went so smooth. Went very quickly, too. I'll have to say I was one of the ones walking on it, and I've never walked so fast, but it was great. The flow was fantastic. The citizens out that participated, it really was. I look forward to it every year. It was a wonderful event. We are not winding down at the Chamber. We are gearing up for our Health and Home Show, which is the first weekend in February. We're almost sold out of booths, so if there is maybe 4 or 5 people that either do home service repairs or in medical or nutritional, if they want to be a part of it, they need to contact us before those booths are gone. But that'll be February 3rd, Schertz Civic Center. Schertz is a partner with us. We'll be doing free flu shots, free health screenings. GBC has a huge booth. HEB Plus has a huge booth. They're going to be doing special things, and so it's free to the public, 10 to 1 o'clock. Donut Envy will be out here with donuts and coffee as well with their food truck. And then we have our 80s themed casino night. It's February 15th. Tickets are on sale. Costume contest. Last year we started this and we thought it was just going to be a fluke, but everybody dressed up in 1920s outfits and it was a great time. So now we're moving it to the Civic Center. We'll actually have dinner. We have sponsors, so y'all make plans if you like to do some casino night and have a good time and dress up in 80s, whatever that means to you. Could be fluorescent clothes, I don't know, hair up to here. And then last but not least, we are done with ribbon cuttings for the year. Woohoo! We kick off about 7 of them in January, and wanted to just extend my appreciation and thanks to all the city council that does show up for those, whether they're Schertz businesses or not. The support and your presence means so much to the businesses and encourages them. So thank you so much, and Merry Christmas from the Chamber.
Thank you, Maggie. All right, next is consent agenda items. These are considered self-explanatory, and information packets are provided to the council and available for public viewing. These items require no separate discussion unless requested by the council. Item number 3, minutes. Item number 4, appointments, reappointments, resignations of the boards, commissions, and committees. Item number 5, approval of the 2024 master calendar. Item number 6, resolution number 23R126. Item number 7, ordinance number 23S29. Item number 8, resolution number 23R108. Item number 9, resolution number 23R107. Item number 10, resolution number 23R127. Item number 11, ordinance number 23T31. Item number 12, resolution number 23R120. Council, do any of these need to be removed for separate action? If not, do I have a motion to approve consent agenda items 3 through 12?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilmember Hayward and second by Councilmember Watson. Any other comments? If none, council, please cast your vote. Okay, if you can publish the vote, please. We have 7 ayes, no objections, motion passes. All right, we'll move on to item number 13, discussion and action items. Ordinance number 23G30, amending the city of Schertz Code of Ordinances, creating a reserve police force in accordance with the statutory mandates. Chief, floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and Mr. Williams. I'm Jim Lowry, your Chief of Police. Tonight I'll be talking about enacting administrative rules to utilize a reserve police force. Texas Government Code 341.02 allows the city to establish a reserve police force and establish qualifications and standards for training in that government code. And again, tonight we'll be talking about the first reading of this ordinance under 23G30, Reserve Police Force. Chapter 66 of our Code of Ordinances established the police department. By enacting Amendment Chapter 66, we can establish a reserve police force. There are guidelines within that, and the proposed guidelines would be a maximum of 6 members as a reserve police force, Again, I want to emphasize the qualification standards of training are identical to a full-time police officer. These are non-paid personnel who meet the same standards as a full-time officer. They donate their time back to the community. We also have a police department and policy in place, 4.63, reserve officers, which is also required by law to have in place. Each reserve officer must be approved by council via resolution. When this is enacted, if it is enacted, when we do find a qualified applicant, we will also have to present a resolution to the council once they go through our background process, and they will have to be approved by the council also through a resolution. The recommendation is to approve Chapter 66 Ordinance Amendment to codify the use of a reserve police force as authorized by the Texas Government Code. Again, reserves can assist us on our daily calls for service, special events, and then more importantly, with the passing of House Bill 3, we're required to have armed security, or we're meeting that mandate with our school district at all our schools, and a reserve officer can also fill in that role as a non-paid employee that allow us to put other officers back on the street. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Chief. Council, floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Brown.
I think it's a great idea, but do we have enough volunteers out there to fill these positions?
So we do have one that is actually in our process, has done our background, and if this is enacted, we will have one, and then we will start promoting the fact that we do have a reserve police force.
Okay, great. Because, again, just trying to hire paid personnel is a challenge.
Council, any other comments? Chief, I have a, how many, is there going to be a mandatory number of hours that they must fulfill throughout the year for them?
Yes,
to...
sir. That is mandated in our policy.
Okay.
They do 12 to 16 hours a month, depending on what they're actually doing. So they're going to return at least 12 to 16 hours by us carrying their commission, and we supply them, again, with all the equipment that's necessary.
We supply them with everything, vehicle, everything is, they're just non-paid. In order to keep their peace officer's license, I think, it's also a requirement, so many hours. Am I correct?
Yeah, they will also have to go through all the additional training. Training will count towards some work, and that's why we're saying 12 to 16 hours. But you need to put in a minimum of 12 hours back to the community on a monthly basis.
All right. Okay. Any other comments, Council? Councilmember Westbrook.
Yes, sir. So all of their arms, all of their bulletproof vests, that's provided?
They essentially are given every piece of equipment that we issue to a full-time officer, all the training, all the qualifications, the background. The only difference, the only difference is the full-time employee is entitled to benefits and a paycheck. The reserve officer is, thank you very much for giving back to the community.
So if they get hurt, shot on duty, nothing happens,
Well, that's going to come back to an issue of workman's comp, and then it will also come back to state law for other benefits that are available to them through the state.
Thank you.
Okay, Council, any other comments? Is there a motion to approve ordinance?
Whoa. There's another question.
I didn't see any.
Push your button.
Okay, Councilmember Davis.
Did you say that the reserve officers will also qualify for a take-home vehicle?
No, sir.
Okay, because I thought someone down here said that that would include a
No,
vehicle.
the vehicle, though.
They can ride in a vehicle, but
Right.
reserve officers
They will not be
assigned
issued a take-home vehicle.
a take-home vehicle.
Okay, thank you.
Nor will they be eligible for that.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 23G30?
So moved.
Second.
Yep, motion made by Councilmember Davis and second by Councilmember Hayward. Any other comments? You can please cast your vote. We can publish the vote, please. We have 7 ayes, no objections. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. All right, we'll move on to item number 14, resolution number 23R112. Approve a resolution casting votes to elect the Board of Directors for the Bear Appraisal District for the FY 2023 and FY 2023 and 2024 term. Okay. Ms. Edmondson, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, one of many resolutions is for appraisal district elections. The first one is for Bear County appraisal district for the. It is said in section 6.03K of the Texas property tax to the Bear County and vote for persons who choose with the Bear County appraisal district election has 4 votes. Within the packet, there were some candidates that were listed, and it is the choice of the council to determine which candidates or candidate will receive the 4 votes that were allowed.
Thank you, Ms. Edmondson. Okay, council, the packet that had the candidates that were listed, is there any nominations for the 4 votes that we cast for the Bear County Appraisal District? Any comments? No?
Waiting to be recognized.
Oh, I am so sorry. Okay, Councilmember Hayward.
Dr. Adriana Rocha Garcia. All 4 votes.
Okay. Any other nominations?
I'll second that.
All 4 votes, the motion was made by Councilmember Hayward for all 4 votes for Dr. Garcia, and second by Councilmember Brown. Council, any other comments? None? If you can please cast your vote. We can publish the vote, please. We have 7 yeas, no objection, motion passes. We also have resolution number 23R113, approval of the resolution casting the votes to elect the Board of Directors for the Comel Appraisal District for FY 2023-2024 term. Okay, Ms. Edmondson, the floor is yours.
Yes, for the Comel County Appraisal District ballot election, our city was allowed 60 votes. Also, with the documentation presented in the council packet, there were 5 candidates that were interested in being elected to this particular board.
Okay. Council, floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Brown.
Yeah, I'd like to see votes go to Eric Couch and Doug Miller, primarily, as well as John Tyler.
Is there a number of votes?
You want 30 apiece?
Do we have 60 votes?
20 apiece.
20 apiece.
20 apiece? Okay. We'll split our votes in 23 different areas.
I second.
Okay. Motion's been made by Councilmember Brown to split the vote 20 votes apiece for the 3 individuals he nominated, and second by Councilmember Hayward. Any other comments? Council, if you can go ahead and cast your vote. We can go ahead and publish the vote, please. We have 7 yeas, no objection, motion passes. All right, we'll move on. Item number 16 is resolution number 23R114. Approve a resolution casting votes to elect the Board of Directors for the Guadalupe County Appraisal District for FY 2024, 2023, and 2024 term. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 23R14 is for the Guadalupe County Appraisal District Board of Directors election. And with this particular county, we were allotted 255 votes. Again, on the documentation, there were 5 candidates that were interested in running and being nominated to the Board of Directors.
Okay, Councilmember Davis.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we give 120, or cast 128 votes for Mr. Darrell John and 127 for Miss Letitia Sever.
Okay.
Second.
120 and 135, am I correct?
No, 128 and 127.
128 and 127, okay. And I heard a second from Councilmember Hayward, am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. Council, any other comments? If you can please go ahead and cast your vote to approve 128 for Mr. Johns and 127 to Ms. Seaver. We can go ahead and publish the vote, please. We have 7 ayes, no objection. Motion passes. All right, moving right along. Item number 17, resolution number 23R68, calling for a charter review and appoint a charter review commission to review and present proposed amendments to the city charter. Ms. Edmondson, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, I bring forward Resolution 23R68. It is calling for a charter review and appointing a charter review commission. The charter, our city charter section 12.03 allows the city council of the city of Schertz periodically to appoint a charter review commission to review and make recommendations to the city council for possible charter amendment election in the next general election date. Historically, each city council member could recommend a citizen to the Charter Review Commission, which can consist of no less than 5 and no more than 11 citizens of the city. On the paperwork that I handed out also, there were some nominations that were sent in to me by the council members listed. So those are some options. And then also, if any of the council currently have a recommendation from the dais. The second piece of paper was the charter review timeline, tentative election for 2024. We're here now calling for the review, we're calling for the Charter Review Commission and then setting the commission as well. Starting in January, we will have the Charter Review Committee meetings approximately 4:30 on the first and third Tuesdays of the month, which would be right before council. January might be a little bit different since our council meetings could possibly be the 9th and the 16th. So going over the review timeline again, it's tentative, but it would have our Charter Review Commission wrapping up approximately the first few weeks of May, then bringing those proposed amendments to the city council meetings. Council would have a first reading, a second reading, and then if there were proposed amendments for the charter, we would put them on the 2024 election as a special election.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Edmondson. Okay, council, floor is open for discussion. Is there any additional nominees that we'd like to consider? Councilmember Westbrook?
Yes, I'd like to recommend Danielle Craig.
Ms. Craig, okay. Council, any other nominations? Okay, we have 12 nominations on this, and our charter requires 11. So we would have to consider which one of these we would have to eliminate. Looking at the names, I would recommend that we leave Councilmember Scagliola's nominee intact. We also leave Councilmember Tim Brown's intact there because he only has one. And Councilmember Westbrook's Danielle Craig, we'll leave those 3 there. So we have 5 from Councilmember Davis and 4 from Councilmember Hayward. So, Council, would you like to reconsider one of these for removal? We all know we want him, so. Which one? We have 12 on, our charter requires only 11. We have 12. Seeing that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 from Councilmember Hayward, And I know it's tough to remove one, and Councilmember Davis, you have 5. I would recommend Councilmember Davis remove one of his so that we can have 4 from Councilmember Hayward and 4 from Councilmember Davis. Would you like to remove one, Councilmember Davis?
Negative.
All right, so, council, we have some options here.
Mayor,
Yes.
I'll just remove one of the Eldridges.
Okay, anyone in particular, or you'll get with one or the other?
I will get with one or the other, and then I'll
Okay.
give you the name. Is that okay?
That makes it easier for me, definitely. Okay, we have 11 11 charter review nominees. All that are listed, and one of the Eldridges will remain, the other will be eliminated from there. Okay. Council, can I have a motion to approve the nominees that have been suggested, with the exception of the Mr. or Mrs. Elridge? One of them will be selected.
So moved.
Second.
We have motion made by Councilmember Dalla and second by Councilmember Brown. Any other comments or discussions? You can please cast your vote. We have, if you can go ahead and publish the vote. We have 6 yeas and 1 objection. Motion passes. All right. We'll move on. Item number 18, resolution number 23R128, authorizing an agreement to dedicate the right-of-way in an existing parkway for a secondary access for additional development in Halley's Cove subdivision in exchange for funding public park improvements and dedicated land. Ms. Schrum, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. We've been through a similar situation as before. We have some existing parkland, and there's going to be maybe additional development nearby. And we had this situation sort of in Rhine Valley where there was a drainage easement that we're able to grant in exchange for some public park improvements for that taking of parkland. So we were able to do that for Rhine Valley. This is a similar situation here in the Halley's Cove subdivision. Over here on the left, it's not showing, sorry. There we go. Okay. On the left here is FM 1518, and this is the Halley's Cove subdivision. There is a proposal for some additional development, and with that additional development, there needs to be 2 points of access for a roadway. So sort of here in the red is the proposed roadway through this existing park parcel that has already been dedicated to the city. Now, there's no development on it currently. It's undeveloped, and we do not have a master plan developed for this park yet, so we don't have any major plans for this piece yet. Majority of this piece is floodplain already, so we weren't going to have a lot of development on this piece. It was going to be mostly open space. On the northern end here at the top of the map is the other parcel of parkland that was dedicated to us, and you can see we did get the trail developed as part of that original parkland dedication with this first development. So we've proposed and negotiated with the developer to provide this right-of-way in exchange for some funding to be able to put in a playground unit in the northern area where we don't have a playground unit. We wouldn't have the funding for that for several years. And we negotiated a greenbelt parcel behind the houses that will connect our 2 park parcels, where previously they were not connected and they were not contiguous. They will now be contiguous, and we will build a connecting trail through there later. The city will come in and do that. And so that's the agreement you have before you. We did take this to the Parks Board at their meeting this past month, and they did recommend approval of this. And we're here tonight to get your recommendation on that as well. Any questions I can answer on that?
Thank you, Ms. Shrum. Before I open the floor, right there where the housing number 1 is,
Yes, sir, right here?
yeah, that little vacant, is that city property also?
This
Right
area
there,
right
that
here?
area,
Yes,
yes.
sir, this is also parkland, yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
So the new roadway will cut off this parkland. We'll now have a little piece right here and we'll have all this. But that's not uncommon in other areas. We have a similar thing at Ashley Park where we've got a little piece over here and a drainage ditch cuts it off. You know, we have some of that in other places, but yeah, that's the way it worked out.
Okay, thank you. All right, council, floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Dalla.
So, question on the graphic here. Has noted there provide buffered belt acceptable to parks and construct a 10-foot wide concrete trail. So they will construct a concrete trail?
They will not, no, sorry. This is an old version, I'm just now realizing. We were not able to negotiate the trail. It's more expensive, and we were not able to get to that. We were able to come together on a playground unit. So the city will come back and do a trail, but we are getting this park parcel here, the land.
So do you have an approximate dollar value of the improvements they're dedicating in exchange for the right-of-way?
Correct, 30,000.
That's fair.
Councilmember Brown.
Yeah, basically the same question Councilman Dalla had is, you know, it looks like we're going to incur a little bit more cost in that than it appears like. And I know that this is all trade-off between the developer and the city. I get that 100%, and that's why we get the floodplain.
Right.
But is there any additional cost to working trail in the floodplain?
Yes, if you were to use decomposed granite, but when we're in floodplain like this, we're going to go with a concrete trail. So, you know, when we do have flood, you just come in and scrape it off if you get, you know, mud or silt over it. But no, that's the plan. You know, our trails plan is essentially trails in floodplain along these creeks. This Woman Hollering Creek was always on our master plan. And so we're getting this connection piece. But we're actually we're just outside of the floodplain line and most of this buffer, if you see the blue line, is the flood line. Okay. So we could actually fit the trail in mostly out of the floodplain the way this is laid out now.
Yeah, I just hate to get something for free that costs a lot of money.
True, we're incurring the cost to build the trail, which, yeah, we would have done it anyways in other areas, right? Where like the Great Northern Trail, we're coming in and building a trail. Where we can't work it out with development, we're putting in parcels of trail. So this is just one of those instances.
Councilmember Hayward.
Now with the cement trail, that's also matching what Haley's Cove already have?
Yes, ma'am. See this right here? This is a 10-foot wide concrete trail, and that's what we went with at this location. Okay. You know, it gives you great two-way traffic, and that would be the goal for this connector piece as well.
Okay.
Council, any other comments? Councilmember Westbrook.
Just a brief question, not necessarily about this one. So all the parks, what were in the presentation earlier, there were 24, 25? 25
That's
parks?
correct. Yep.
Can they all be interconnected, or are they just separate, like 25 separate parks?
The goal, our master trails plan, is to try to connect as many trails as we can through our creek systems throughout the city. If you look at a larger map, with the Woman Hollering Creek, the Cibolo Creek, the Dietz Creek, and then the Great Northern Trail, the Comal Creek, we have opportunities to connect quite a few of our parks. Not every single one will be connected, but there's a possibility that quite a few of them will. Yes, that's part of our grander vision.
Thank you.
Council, any other comments? All right, is there a motion to approve resolution number 23R128?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion by Councilmember Dalla, second by Councilmember Hayward. Any other comments? Not, if you can please cast your vote. If we can publish the vote, please. We have 7 yeas, no objections. Motion passes. All right, we'll move on. We have a workshop on the review requirements for the parking storage surfaces. Mr. James.
Thank you, Mayor. As those who've been on council for a while know, back in September, staff came and did a presentation to council about our requirements for parking and storage of vehicles. That was prompted by Councilman Scagliola requesting that, and that seemed to be prompted from him by the fact that our Neighborhood Services Department had gone out and issued a number of notices of violations for folks who were parking on an unpaved surface. And just to be clear, generally the city code requires parking or storage of vehicles to be on a dust-free paved surface. Generally, that's concrete or asphalt that meets that requirement. That's cost-effective. And what we've had happen over time is we've had businesses, and in this case, primarily the folks that I think you were hearing from were car repair businesses, for a variety of reasons, began parking and storing vehicles on areas for which they had not received approval to park cars and were not paved with concrete or asphalt. So again, business is good, or they struggle to get parts or things like that. They start running out of space on their property and there's a vacant area nearby. They began parking and storing cars on those areas. And one thing I think staff acknowledged, there were certain areas of our code that we did not as aggressively enforce over the past, but for a variety of reasons we were going out and doing enforcement, particularly as we look to revitalize areas such as Main Street, and businesses start doing this, we began enforcing. And also, as you may imagine, when we go out and enforce on one business, often their reaction is to point to other businesses and say, well, why aren't they required to? And our answer is, we can certainly take your complaint and we'll go deal with them on it. And that's really what had happened. And so we had a number of businesses, I think, had reached out to council members, prompting Councilman Scagliola. So on the 19th, staff did a presentation to sort of describe what the code required, what some of the challenges, issues, and concerns were, and the problems. The general direction at the time was that a committee be formed. Councilman Scagliola would head that up, and that it include a number of the folks whose businesses we had issued notices of violations to move forward. And so staff also went back and did a fair amount of research, what other cities around us require. Our engineering department went out and looked at some alternate materials, newer materials that folks were using, to try to look at a couple of things. To what degree are they dust-free, which is sort of the intent. We're not kicking up a bunch of dust. We're not tracking mud onto the road, particularly when it rains. The other element of that was how well do they hold up, right? If you're moving cars in and out, is it the kind of thing that after a year it's pretty much worn out and we're back to now having sort of dirt and gravel there? No, they hold up pretty well. And then lastly, the issue that comes about with that is our stormwater requirements for generally detention, that folks, when they go out and just throw down some base material, compact it, it's not as pervious as it used to be. More water then runs off. That affects the property owners downstream, which is an issue. And so staff began researching those things in preparation for that. But one of the things that as we began looking at it and getting into it, and certainly there were some tangential issues. So while the focus at the time was auto repair businesses and things like that, or towing businesses, things like that, it's not uncommon when we have other businesses come in and say, why do I have to pave an area? Certainly we have issues, as was mentioned, of people in residential areas who park a car in their front lawn and things like that. So one of the things that we looked at is, how wide an area do we want to look at? So in addition to the surface material and the detention requirements, we also have certain screening requirements for outdoor storage. If you want to store stuff, you have to screen it from view. That becomes an issue as well. So the scope of what we want to look at may be a little bit bigger than what was initially thought. We think we can move through fairly quickly with that, but what we didn't want to do is come back with a solution on one element to the problem, only then for folks to go, well, wait a minute, now the city's coming in and saying I have to screen this area or that area. So we wanted to come back and clarify with that. But the other part we wanted to clarify is to see if council wanted to include maybe a broader amount of representation on the committee beyond simply the folks who had been issued notices of violation, that perhaps some of the business owners in general, for different things who sort of face some of these costs and might have a say in it. Maybe we want to include a few residents in it who have a say of what do we want our community to look like. That may be helpful, that we get sort of the broad view of folks in the community. We certainly have the folks who are directly impacted by this having a seat at the table, but maybe not all the seats at the table. And one reason is they tend to focus on their particular issue, and that's helpful to understand from a real business owner's perspective how that impacts them. But at times what it means is their focus is a little bit more narrow, and so when we look at kind of other tangential issues, we want them to still be engaged in things like that. So really what this was about is to come back and see if council was okay with the fact that we include representatives from those businesses who had been issued notices of violation, some local businesses in our community, probably a few small business owner, a few big businesses that have to pave a really large area for truck storage, for example, and then a few residents, to provide that perspective and then kind of make sure we look at all of the issues that we need to with this, so we don't solve one problem, but as soon as we do that, these businesses and folks are back up complaining, but the city now says I have to do this. And that is really what we are looking for some nods for. And if that's the case, we've certainly kicked around some folks we think would be good on the committee, provide, again, a variety of perspectives, and can go out and get this thing underway. But because that's a slightly different direction than we were given in September, we wanted to come back to council to make sure we were thinking through this right.
All right, thank you, Mr. James. Interesting. We do need a good mix, because if we just have these businesses that are having the issue, all we're going to do is come with a solution that will work for them and not necessarily for the city. So we do have to have a good mix of business owners and also residents that are dealing with this issue. With that, Councilmember Hayward?
You pretty much said what I was thinking, getting a mix, even those that have already done it. And trying to go forward with it. Because if residents are living next to it, then they should have a say. Because we already know that the direction that we're trying to get in Schertz and go with in Schertz, and if we're trying to get to the premier city that we all say we are, then we have to start enforcing things and doing things, but making it a balance so everyone gets a say. And real quick, did they find any other things other than asphalt and cement out there that's...
So they didn't really find anything, and frankly, this is sort of the fundamental. There are a lot of different materials and surfaces out there, but assuming that we say we want it to be a dust-free surface, right? So when it's really hot and dry in the middle of August, it's not kicking up a bunch of dirt and dust into the air. And the other is when we get heavy rain, like we do periodically, it's not tracking mud like you see on roads. There are other surfaces that do both those things, but the fundamental challenge on this one is really a cost issue. That's fundamentally what we heard from those businesses. So unfortunately, what we didn't find is a surface that is dust-free, that will hold up for a reasonable length of time, and we're not out there 6 months after going, yeah, you put this down 6 months ago, but look, it's destroyed over 3/4 of it, and now you've got just the base material there. And one that was cost effective, that was less. There are a few kind of alternatives that may be fairly similar in some cases, but the problem is there isn't something that is dust-free, is durable, and is inexpensive, and is pervious, so that you don't have to then go build the detention associated with it. So there's not some magic solution that's staff found that somebody has come across. But again, I think that's why the committee comes together, to understand how we balance all of those different factors and think outside the box for solutions as well.
Council, any other comments? Councilmember Westbrook.
So there were no materials. What about metal grading? Did they ever? Sometimes I was in charge of facilities, and sometimes we put down metal grading in properties for the city of San Antonio. People could drive over it. So it would sort of protect from the rain, and it wouldn't kick up dust. But I don't know if it's cost prohibitive and or Would you say impervious or pervious?
So what we, and again, I'm not sure, maybe we can chat after and to describe certainly what it is. You know, a couple things that we looked at are kind of millings, construction millings that you add materials to sort of come back. We looked at grasscrete pavers, which is sort of an open paver that grass grows in the middle, but it has enough paver there that it becomes dust-free and you grow up. But again, price is an issue there. We did, in looking at what some other communities did in areas, are issues where you don't allow the whole thing to be a different material, but you require a band of, say, asphalt or concrete around a portion of it or around the front of it that vehicles would drive over and do washing. In theory, you maybe see that on the concrete place at 78, and you see how that works. So maybe let me understand what you're suggesting. Is that maybe something we missed?
Maybe it's just something. The other part was, I know we have, so business owners, and we're going to have some residents. What about a survey? Was that ever a possibility to send out a survey in and around?
So we certainly could. I think certainly we could, and maybe what we would do is, as we work toward a solution, we kind of broaden the number of folks to touch more widely. The only concern I might have initially on a survey is, as this is one of those issues that I think it's really important to understand some of the different elements. To what degree cost is a factor, or this is a factor. You know, we often have residents have some really great ideas or solution, but they may just not be well-versed in the issue and don't understand that, well, but there's this element to consider and it doesn't work for that. But yeah, I mean, I think often what we would probably do, you know, we often look to Maggie, who we look to for cookies to sustain us through meetings, but look to her for some of the business owners to get some feedback from some of them. We would certainly look to Scott Wayman with EDC to reach out to some of the businesses they deal with to understand that sort of a thing. And I think it's key, you know, that we try to find this win-win solution, because, you know, the businesses, even though we're issuing them notices of violations, they provide jobs, they provide services that we need in our community, they provide tax base. So yeah, I think as broadly as we can look on that to get feedback, it's a way to make sure that we haven't kind of missed something. So I would agree that that's something we would look at as we move forward.
Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Dalla.
Do you know how many notices of violation were issued?
I think we're up around 10, 12, something like that. I think that's, as I recall, that's the number that we had out kicking around. Now, again, as I think we said in the presentation, we have had some businesses go correct that issue, have gone through the process to pave and make that expense do what they need to do. We had some businesses stop putting what they have on that surface. But again, as we talked about, we've pulled back on enforcement. But I think it was about 10 or 12 total that we had been working on. The total current active number was maybe fewer than that, 8, 9, something like that.
All right, thank you. So I'd say that, you know, putting together a group would be a good way to work forward on it. You know, I mean, we have our core values here, is work cooperatively as a team. And this would be a good example of that. But ultimately, like you said, you know, with myself being in facilities as well, I don't see a easy solution to this if, you know, we want to go with the dust-free standard. And at some point, you know, I won't be here for it. But you guys are going to have to decide whether or not we're going to, you know, raise that bar and that standard and make the businesses do that, or if we're going to accept that.
All right. Council, any other comments? No other comments. All right. Thank you, Mr. James.
I think we have direction. We'll move forward and try to move fairly quickly.
All right.
Mayor, before we move on, point of information, remove Kathleen Eldridge from the list.
Okay. Ms. Edmondson, did you get that one? Okay, thank you. All right, next on the agenda is we have a closed session. The City Council will meet in closed session under Section 551.087 of the Texas Governmental Code, deliberating regarding the economic development negotiations closed meeting. The governmental body is now required to conduct an open meeting, one, to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the governmental body has received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the governmental body and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations, or number 2, to deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentives to a business prospect. This is in reference to Project E-888. The time is now 7:20. We will reconvene after our discussion. This with me. Can't believe it. Got gold. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
My sinus.
Hey, thank you very much.
me to take care of this?
The time is now 7:51. We reconvene after into our regular session after our discussion and deliberation regarding our closed session in reference to agenda item number 20, Project E88. Start time was 7:25 and the end time was 7:45. There is no action required regarding that agenda item. Item number 22 is the street sweeping schedule update, and item number 24 is the update on agreements with the Chamber and Visitors Guide Business Directory. These are information packets that were provided to council and available for public viewing, and they're at our website, schertz.com. So we'll move on. Council, is there any updates or information requested from staff? Council, is there any possible items you'd like to have on the future agenda? With that, we'll go on with announcements by council. Mayor Pro Tem Watson?
I attended the tree lighting and then the Holodazzle parade. And wanted to
Councilmember
thank
Davis.
Parks and Rec for their wonderful job.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes, sir. We had a Main Street meeting, a Main Street Subcommittee meeting just recently. We also had a meeting for the interview panel for the various boards and commissions. Also attended the tree lighting and the Holodazzle parade, and the staff did a fantastic job on both. I thank them for that.
Councilmember Macaluso.
Well, we also got to attend the tree lighting and the parade, and I thought the festivities were awesome. I thought it was a great crowd that came out to support the parade, and my family and I had a very good time.
Councilmember Dalla.
I attended the tree lighting ceremony and then attended the interview committee meeting afterwards.
Councilmember Westbrook.
I attended the tree lighting and the parade, Holodazzle parade.
Councilmember Hayward.
Yes, I attended the EDC conference in Bastrop, the ribbon cutting in Cibolo called Ability Backflow, the Main Street Committee meeting, TML Small Cities Problem Solving, and needless to say, we all have some of the same problems with some of the same things. They just don't have the capital that we in a medium city would have, but they have the same problems. Attended the Deck the City Hall tree lighting, the interview committee, and the Holodazzle parade.
Councilmember Brown.
Proud to have gone to the SSLGC 25-year celebration. That was really well done and really a great community asset that we have there. People should be proud of it.
All right, the time is now 7:54. We stand adjourned.